Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today I don't want to do the negative stuff because it weighs on you and it's just not great. So we're going to talk about something fairly positive, I guess. You see, the Beastmen have been in a pretty good state for a while since the Silence and the Fury, and to be honest, I wasn't expecting more stuff for them. I was actually hoping that they'd get some DLC content, because let's be honest, there are a few things missing from the Beastmen roster, and interestingly enough, which I kind of expected but didn't really think it was going to happen, the Beastmen have gotten a few little changes when it comes to Shadows of Change. So while I can't give you my actual thoughts regarding the Shadows of Change DLC until the review embargo, what I can say is I can appreciate when a DLC does help out some other faction which isn't really attached. And for the Beastmen, they kind of got a nice little change to them. You see, now they have access to Zangors and the Incarnate Elemental of Beasts, both things which are, well, very much attributed to the Beastmen. The Zangors because they're God-touched gores, something that people have been waiting for a while. I know people don't like them visually, but that's more of a Games Workshop problem rather than Creative Assembly. And the Incarnate Elemental of Beasts is something that we've known a lot since 8th edition, through the Storm of Magic, and obviously the Monstrous Arcanum, which in this DLC is attributed to Kislev. It is a little bit odd to me, considering that it is known for Beastmen and Jade Wizards in the Empire, but hey, let's not complain about that. Let's more talk about how this is actually affecting the Beastmen, right? Because as you're aware, the Zangors being implemented means that you have a frontline defender. They're actually really good at holding down the line. It's actually a benefit to Kairos too, which we'll probably talk about in a different video. But for the Beastmen, this gives you something to hold down whilst you attack from the sides and the rear with pretty much everything else. When it comes to the Incarnate Elemental, you've got some big beasties, one of the most impressive models from the Forge World era for Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and yeah, I mean, it does a lot of damage. It does constant damage to the enemies around, so that's always going to be kind of cool. The only thing I would say is I kind of wish the Cockatrice was also available for the Beastmen. Yes, it was more of a Warriors of Chaos thing, but it would have added a nice big flying monster, which we already know is actually fairly strong. But that's not all. You see, I was kind of blindsided by another change. You see, the Beastmen themselves have gotten access to a minor settlement, something which is obviously expected for the Hearthstones and so on, but like, wow, you know, something different. Because if you don't know, the Beastmen themselves for the headstones basically use the Wood Elf map, which was okay, but it's not really thematic. It doesn't really look the part. This is a much smaller settlement. It's a bit more compact, but it's a bit more open in certain areas for big skirmishes. There's a bunch of different little choke points. You've got headstones themselves, like the actual headstone buildings in the background. Obviously, the background of the map kind of looks like a Beastmen subterranean battle, but it's pretty cool, honestly. It just fits with the theme a lot better. It's very unlikely that you're going to be fighting these types of battles, because a lot of people, when you're playing as Beastmen, you're not really going to be attacked here much. But it's just the idea of having this, and I think that's kind of cool. I know that the settlement stuff isn't the most important thing for people, but thematic settlements, especially when you're playing as a certain race, is just a lot better. It adds into immersion, and yeah, I mean, that's one of the really important things when it comes to Total War Warhammer. Visual aspects, visual eye candy, I mean, yeah, you know, it's important. So we've got a little battle between the Vampire Counts and the Beastmen. Obviously, this isn't a randomly generated Beastmen army. I just kind of wanted to show the Zangors up in action and the Incarnate Elemental of Beasts. They are very powerful. I must say, the fact that the Zangors are actually fairly decent was surprising to me. I wasn't really too keen at the beginning. I was hoping for more of an AOS aesthetic, as a lot of you guys were. But I see what they're doing here. They're making them frontline, very similar to that of Chaos and Conquest, the mobile game, because it's actually using the same art as reference, funny enough. So I imagine future DLC is going to give us pretty standard looking Slangors and Corngors, maybe with additional hand weapons for the Corngors and the spear for the Slangors. Whereas the Pestigore, even with the older miniatures, which the inspiration is drawn from, at least is still fat, and that uses a great weapon, I believe. But yeah, I know, it's not the most ideal thing. Everyone wants the newer version, but these aren't too bad, so I'm not really going to complain. It's very certain that the next DLCs will basically have that, because the next DLC after this is Throne of Decay, which is a Nurgle DLC. At this point, I'm expecting Pestigores there. So yeah, I don't think that the Beastmen are going to get DLC in the future, but at least any Chaos DLC that might add in stuff will at least benefit them, which is good. I mean, this is a overall good thing. I know the price is not really something I want to discuss right now, but it's more of the case of it's nice to see some DLCs affect other DLCs, if you get what I mean, right? What I would love in the future, if anyone from Creative Assembly is listening, I would love the consideration of the Cockatrice and the Thing in the Woods, because it is a Chaos creature. Even the unit card for the Thing in the Woods itself says it's a Chaos creature. It would be really great to see them with the Beastmen, mostly because it's more monsters, right? There's only so much that can actually be done with the Beastmen, and that's not really Creative Assembly's fault. That's the fact that the Beastmen have been ignored as long as they've been implemented in Warhammer Fantasy. It's pretty ridiculous. But hey, 40 years later, we are getting Warhammer the Old World sometime soon, so it would be great, considering that they are a core faction, to see some new units and, well, just some good rules. But yeah, Creative Assembly are the only people so far to actually make the Beastmen a proper threat. Anyways, I'm going to let the rest of the battle play out, and you can see the Incarnate Elemental Beast do its thing as a Beastman unit rather than a Kislev unit. It does a lot of damage. It's honestly pretty cool. I'm really, really pleased about the Zangors too. I really need to try out Kairos and see how that goes. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. Again, I know everything's a bit volatile at the moment, but I just want to talk about the cool shit doing cool shit, right? So yeah, have a good day, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.
Warhammer!